Hi, I'm Nigel from Engineer to Slide. Over in this corner is basically the car section. So I've fitted a Max Jacks Hoist, which is just a really clean little small clear span hoist, which is low enough to lift the car up, change basically wheels and tyres, and I can even fit another car underneath here just with some extra little extensions. So it's really handy, and I remove it every now and then, which is good. It's just got a couple of hydraulic lines to a hydraulic pump up the back, and it makes the garage really universal, and I can lift it in and out when I need it. So over the back here is basically all my nuts and bolts, all just organised from like smaller than M6, so all your M4s, your M5s, got some stainless hardware in here, and then it moves up to M6, probably the most used small bolts in pretty much everything that I do. Got a heap of washers up to M8, M10, and then these are the larger bolts, predominantly M12, but there's a little bit of Imperial stuff in there as well. These are really handy, so these are basically little sleeves that build anything out of, just mostly offcuts, but they do come in handy. Also little tabs, so you've got pretty much, little tabs to build stuff out of. I try not to throw away too much stuff, but I like a clean garage, so I already do throw away a lot of stuff, but small things like tabs that take a long time to build are always handy to hold on to. Moving on from that, we've got some fittings, just more bits of steel, random bits, drill bits, so you got everything from pretty much the smallest drill bits to the largest. Hole saws, spark plugs, fittings, hose clamps, it's all pretty much here. This is where I come if I need a bolt. So that's all organised and pretty simple. Up the top here, we've got these Dolly caster wheels. Really good for shifting the car around. They take a lot of weight. I bought them for use with the ute. So basically, put nitrogen into the air jacks, it jacks it up, and then drop it down onto these and can 360 it inside the garage. So really good for just shifting stuff around. Further over here into the corner, this is basically a chassis jig that I built to make my the KTM 450 off, and also the salt bike. So in Flats movie, you'll see me using this a lot, and it's a really good tool just to have a reference to start from. Each hole's spaced 50 mil center to center, and there's probably about 100 holes in it, so really good just to make stuff off. So that's pretty much this corner of the garage. This is the hydraulic unit for the hoist that I was talking about, so it's just really simple, and yeah, up and down, so yeah, it's pretty much out of the way. Over here is my fantastic big Sid Chrome toolbox. It's only a new recent addition to this garage. I did have a similar toolbox that was a little bit smaller, but I spoke to Sid Chrome about customising a toolbox, with everything that I need. And after a little bit of work with them, we basically come up with this design, and it packs in pretty much every tool and everything that I need. There's so many little handy additions in this toolbox. We've got these little stubby ratchet spanners, which are just so handy for the little jobs, because half the time you can't fit a big spanner in. Sockets that range all the way from 4 mil up to, I guess, over 1 inch, or even larger, 1 1/16, or something like that. No, 36 mil. So yeah, super handy. I've pretty much got everything that I need in this toolbox. And any tools that I didn't have, I made. So there's a lot of like special little tools like KTM fork, seal, insert sleeves and just stuff like that. So there's a whole lot of tools that I've built and I've also bought. So pretty much everything that I need fits in here, and it's all, I know where everything is and it's easy to get to. In here's all my fittings, so pretty much all the range from AN3 all the way up to AN20. So yeah, big fittings, and it just makes working on everything a breeze because I can just jump into this drawer, I know what I need, and if it's in there then I can use it. Cordless stuff is these fantastic DeWalt units. Never had an issue with them, so yeah, it's just really, really good. Moving over here, this is probably one of my favourite possessions at the moment. This is a Brobo cold saw, and by cold saw it means it's a drop saw, but it doesn't create heat, so it just spins really slowly. Set it on 2 for non-ferrous metals, for aluminium and copper and bronze and stuff like that. So this is really good because I can adjust the angle and it doesn't create too much mess or noise or distorted cut. So cutting through a lot of stainless for tubing, for exhausts and stuff like that, it's really good because it basically, you know, pulls a really clean cut off the tube and doesn't need too much cleaning up to then go straight to the job and weld it up. So this has been really, really good. These are about $8,000 new or something like that. And I ended up finding one off a guy who had a job site and he was getting rid of everything. So I got it for a good price, and it's been money well spent, I think. Moving over here, this is basically, this used to be the jig that the Hilux chassis sat on and that I built it on. When I'd finished the Hilux, it was pretty much useless to me. So what I did, I cut it down and then worked out the length that I needed to fit a motorcycle on. So pretty much it was square this size, cut that little section into it so I could put the motorbike there, and then it's just used for storage now. So it's a good little stand, and everything's on caster wheels and makes everything, I guess, movable, and I can arrange the garage however I want. So pretty much all of the benches that you see in here are all made of galvanized 50 by 50 square tube. All the benches are topped with MDF, and it's just a really easy way to plan out your garage and set it up so that you've got all the bench space you need at a decent price, because when you work out the cost of all the materials and everything, it becomes quite pricey, and you can buy shelving, but it's in crazy colors and the sizes are just not suited to most people. So when you just draw up a square bench, I get everything pre-cut at Meadowland. So I order all the steel pre-cut, lay it out, MIG weld it all up. The caster wheels I think are about $30 each, so 4 of those on each bench, and it's strong and sturdy and yeah, able to move everything around. So that's pretty much the same story with this bench over here. It's another storage bench. I pretty much like to put things in plastic containers because they're cheap and they're just easy to store things. So in this one we've got all stainless bends, so everything that I make exhausts out of pretty much sit in these tubs here. These stainless bends are actually, I think we made them 3-inch centerline radius, so they're a special built bend to suit most of the exhausts that I wanted to build. So there was a minimum order to actually get that size made. So I had to get around, worked out to be about $4,000 worth to build, you know, all of the exhausts that I wanted to build. So, you know, things like this are now possible because I've got all of these bends, but it was quite an investment at the time. But to get them all made and have them in stock means I pretty much build exhausts for everything. Like on this KTM, like on my Harley, like on my NA SR20. So up here's pretty much all the helmets that I've ever owned. Never ever throw out a helmet, always just keep it. This is the one that I set a land speed record on in the Flats movie. Other helmets just from everything else. I keep my good one that's used for motorsport inside. But these are others that I'd campaigned in drift cars and stuff like that. So yeah, always keep a hold onto them. So I mentioned these, this 50 by 50 galvanized tubing that I make everything out of. I made the same thing for the tire racks up the top. Basically attached that straight to the garage that was already here on this block. So it's just so handy putting bulky tires up high where, you know, you don't really, you know, you can see them and you know that you've got them, but they're not out of the way, they're not in the sun, or they are out of the way, but they're not in the sun. And that's important to keep rubber in good condition, and they can be such a bulky thing if you've got them on the floor. So it's good to make a tyre rack and get it up high and get all your wheels and tyres out of the way. It's pretty much like a 50-50 split of motorcycle and car tyres at the moment, and rims. So yeah, it was good to build everything out of that 50 by 50 tube. Moving over here, these little lights I built out of my grandpa. He used to race a speedboat with a 186 or a 202 in it, I'm not too sure, and it had triple carbies on it. So when he passed away, I built these little lamps out of the old carbies that were on his speedboat. So I got a couple of them floating around. My dad's got one back at his place, and yeah, that's that. Up on the bench here, we've got the Flats bike. You can see all about that in Flats movie. There's a heap of rubber bits and pieces that are just, you know, random pieces that I've kept. Like I said before, I try not to keep too much, but some stuff, if it's easily stored, it's good to hold on to because you may need it one day. Up above me, there's just a bit of storage space. Like I said before, this garage was already here. I just built everything inside of it. So a little bit of a mezzanine floor that I can store stuff on. At the moment, there's just a heap of tanks and motorcycle parts and a few car parts up there as well. Another little bike stand with this KTM project I've been working on for a while. More plastic tubs along here. They've pretty much just got everything in them, from BMX parts to wiring bits and pieces to wheel spacers, tape, glue, all sorts of things. Got a little hydraulic press that's basically operated by a little power pack setup. So just good to press bearings out and press bearings in and stuff like that. Over this side, there's a project waiting to happen that's pretty much, well, it was all finished, and we used to race this on the flat track. It's 1200 Harley, but we'll talk more about the bikes and all the projects and stuff in a later date. My 1951 Triumph, that's all finished off. That's got bench duties right now. It leaks a fair bit of oil, so the bench will catch that. Over here, another toolbox, roll cab, just with bits and pieces, files and sandpaper and all of that type of thing. So just good to keep everything out of the way. A whiteboard's really good just for jobs that you got coming up, and you can just plan them out. Write everything down so it's all planned out and you know what's coming up next. Tally for when V8 supercars are on, or Formula One or anything like that. In here, this is what I pretty much call the mess room. So at the moment, I've been working on a lot of fiberglass stuff. So there's fiberglass dust everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty much, the idea with this room was just to contain the mess in here, and any metal filings or dust or shavings pretty much stay in here. So I also used it to keep the sound down for the neighbours. So pretty much covered the whole thing in MDF, and you know, when the door's shut and it's close to midnight, I can cut something in here and not upset too many people. both of my welders that I built some little rollers for, so they're on wheels as well, and I drag them through the workshop every now and then. So I've got the TIG. I'll probably go into that with a bit more detail, and we'll do a few welding tips and tricks. The MIG, which pretty much just for making trailers and benches and just anything that I don't care too much about. There's a bit of material, mostly stainless, aluminium, kept here. Around this corner there's a linisher, and a disc grinder. Really handy just for flattening off things, for sharpening tungstens, for drills, all of that type of thing. A drill press, so yeah, just makes drilling a breeze, and it's a good little workshop to keep all the mess in and keep the sound in, and yeah, it's this garage I think is 12 by 7 meters, so this doesn't take up too much room, but it adds so much more to the garage, and it means you're not spraying mess all over the cars, and you can keep the garage pretty clean, and yeah, it was definitely a worthy addition. Out here, this is just a little workbench where I pretty much draw anything that I need to, or plan anything out. This Bride Zeta 2 seat is basically one of my favourite seats, so I just made up a base for it, and yeah, now it's a little office chair. So that, apart from the sink and a couple of BMX bikes and stuff like that, is a complete tour of my garage. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more upcoming content.